Blessings and welcome forward to Reasonings right here at the Tree of Life. I'm your host, the Great Owl, and my co-host, Brother Ramon Singh.
Perfect love.
Perfect love, brother. Perfect love. Wonderful afternoon it is, just another day through the struggles of this life, overcoming many of our personal and individual issues, to be here present to share this moment. And we give thanks to the Most High who has blessed us with the energy and the ability. Give thanks to the people who are subscribing to Seala Media and DreadLocks Television Network. We actually just reached a few weeks ago our first million view video on Seala Media. First million viewed video, and that's the one on marijuana. We did two on marijuana. I think it was probably the second installment, or maybe the first, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, 1 million views, Brother Ramon. Before we go into a topic, your thoughts?
Yes, I am one. Just give the Most High thanks, using an outlet for reach the people, spread the good news.
Absolutely, absolutely. And because we have had to focus hard to get to this point, because it's not like someone gave us a template and told us follow this. Through trial and error and faith, we kept persevering. Because at one point we lost camera, we lost connection, and a lot of the moments to kind of share. At that point I went and did True Life, and the Spirit of the Most High persevered. We came forward together again, and Seala Media started out on our second journey in an even more stronger footing. And so here we are going into this is the fourth year. And so we just want to give Yahuwah thanks once again. Hallelujah. The whole Tree of Life, thanks once again, Blessings to Mystic Kush, to Lone Galawas, and to all of the ones before that kept that energy. Blessings to Renee as well too. Shout out to Rachel as well, because Rachel now lives in my community. She's probably lived there for about a year now. So Brother Singh, our current offering, because we started out with the essence of Tree of Life. And one of the things that is synonymous with Tree of Life first is what is called in this age DreadLocks. Now we've done several videos on lock and the lock hair culture, and I have vast opinions. It's not about me here showing how vast my opinions are. We're actually going to talk about judgments on locks. And so we're going to swing over to Brother Singh and let him kick it off to explain to us what angles on judgment on locks is he starting out with. Blessings, Brother Singh.
Yes, hi, man. All right. How me see locks growing up? It always looked interesting, I was not someone to shun locks,
Mm-hmm.
But based on the religion, the Christianity, is and how them grow me up, it's like them say Rasta people stay far from them.
Oh.
So I say, and smoking, stay far from that.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's upon coming to Edna Manley and meeting up with the Tree of Life members, especially you see me? I have to say, no man, I start look more into myself and say, no man, we need to have a more spiritual life and not just live life for Babylon, and just live like a robot. So I start doing enough research into locks, and find out say locks is actually an antenna for the body. Our antenna, like how when it comes and pull out the antenna for the radio, they get more signal.
Even the early cell phones usually have an antenna too.
True. Yes, I see them where the ear operate as a signal, you see me? It receives signal and send out signal. And the longer it be, the more amplification. You see me? And how it coil up together, it have the amplification as well, you see me?
So
I say, well, and naturally, if you just think about it as nature, why God make us humans for have hair upon our head top? Man have beard,
Here on the face.
Here on the face.
I don't know why they call it a beard.
True.
The ear on our arm is called the armpit hair.
True.
You understand me? And this is the genital hair or here in the groin area. It's supposed to have another name. I don't know why they call it beard, but we work with it. Here on the face.
The creator designed with this way. May I say, yo, alright, why the eyelash here just grow to a length and stop? The eyebrow grow to a length and stop. The hair on the hand grow to a length and stop.
Yes.
But the only hair that continue to grow and grow and grow is the one on the head top and the one on the face. So me I say, no man, God designed this way.
Absolutely.
Because the animal now are cut off them thing are the lion.
Yeah.
That's compared to the lion.
Yeah, because Rasta love you.
Yeah.
You can relax.
And the more the lion mature, the male, and the more you see him beard grow.
Yeah, the mane coming down. That's what they call it on the animal, right? The mane. And also, you know, they lock as well. Because that's another thing people don't know. They're here locks.
True.
We read the lions here lock. I'm not making that up, and I'm not using no symbolism to play smart. It's true. The lion here locks.
Yes, sir.
Go figure.
Me even do a research where some Indians they were captured to use for a next military group to search for the other enemies. You see me? But is the hair on the head top give them the ability to sense where the people are.
So let me get this straight. A set of people were helping, let's say an invader.
Yes, I.
Against their own people.
Yes, I.
And the way they could trap their own people, you're saying it's through the sensitivity of the hair.
Yes,
like
I.
picking up the frequencies and such.
Yes, I.
Sheshe.
And
I like that.
what the military did was cut them here because I must say one of us now.
Yes.
And give them the uniform and suit up.
Okay.
And then the person starts saying, we can't find nothing, it not work, it not happen. And them go to an Indian elder, and the elder say, no, it's the hair we use for track.
A Shari Baba.
And the hair grant the intuition so much power. You see me?
Wow.
And if you cut it off, you lose it.
We can go back.
It'll get weak.
Like the story of Samson, because I mean the Bible always has some kind of archetypal story
True.
to relate up to a point. That's like, it's not like the story of Samson.
True.
For real, like the 7 special locks, when they were cut, the energy field and the physical strength level in the being went down. He practically lost the power of that strength. Even the ancient Nazarene vow is about, some would say, matted hair, or some say not combing the hair, because I guess it's sometimes of this.
Just basically not cutting.
You're not cutting it, yes.
Because, alright, in that same part.
Or comb, because Nazarene vow say not upon the hair or upon the precepts. So,
yes,
so it's neither. So, but,
yeah, man.
but they don't always lock. The Nazarene, my point is, Nazarenes don't always lock.
Yeah,
because my granduncle, he's a Nazarene, and he didn't cut his hair, nor groomed his hair, nor comb his hair, nor his precept. And they grow to a certain length, and they grew no more, and they would not lock.
Okay.
So his hair was like about the height of your hat, and it did not lock. And his precept was like a little bit more thicker than mine, but it did not lock. And he was this way for some almost 40 years, saying.
Okay.
You know, because my families are ancient Sabbath keepers, and you know, but the traditions, it's been there. Carry on, brother.
Yeah, man. And in that same part about the ancient Israelites, the Father said it is holy to grow your hair. It is holy.
Yeah, I think I heard that in the Old Testament. And
yes, because the same part them was said, as an Israelite, you should not cut your hair. If you say you're Israelite, and if you're a Nazarite vow, you definitely should not cut it. You see me?
I love that.
Yes,
you know, as I hear you, you know, like breaking it down into that understanding of showing that the locks is sensitivity. I mean, at first it sounds a little subjective, like a person saying something they believe. But when you mention that particular, and the story is true about the Indian scout, right?
Yeah, man.
So that showed me something that is more than just people saying some subjective thought like, oh, I believe I can do this. I know this is what this does. But it seems that there's a real correlation to it. I mean, the essence of saying it is the antenna. I can tell you something. You said something a while back in one of the other videos when you talk about energy and vibrations and putting your ear next to like a radio or a microphone or antenna, and you can notice that there is like your ear stand on end, or you're close to an energy field and your ear stand on end, because you're actually picking up the vibrational frequency at such an intense level. It's like people would say, and I'm going to use this as an example to kind of bring Brother Singh's point closer to minds like mine. It's like people would say, he or she makes my skin crawl, or my hair stand on end. Is that there's a vibrational sensitivity being picked up by the sensory perception of the hair follicles that is actually translating the vibrational frequency of the individual coming into your space, or the environment in which you're at, into your sensory and into your understanding. So basically, your vibrational alignment and the frequency is picking up negative, it's picking up distortion. And before somebody tells you that, hey, something crazy went on here, I mean, I'm going to use an example, that's a slight example. People would say, I've gone to a place and it's haunted. And you ask them, so what do you know about that place? And they say, well, I don't know anything about it, but I know it's haunted. So why? Because I felt, and I'm not talking people see ghosts, that's not the only way people know a place is haunted. Because I don't see them, I feel them. Bullshit. They say, I feel the presence of someone else there. You know what somebody feels like when they're there, when you look, there's no one, but you feel the presence. Then you hear somebody who knows say to you, well, actually, there were some people who were violently killed in that place, right? And that place really does give me the spooks. They're not superstitious, but they are correlating something that is like, right? You know that there's some activities going on there. And I think a lot of times, the first way we pick up this sensitivity, just bringing it down to layman's term, is literally your ear standing in. That's why I draw back on that point, just like you said, because literally, I've been in situations where I know there was another presence there. And my hair, the back of my neck, just like, you're like tense, you're looking around and you're uneasy, yeah? And then there's other ways to translate, not just in that spooky way, because I'm going to bring it to something more natural. Sometimes you feel like someone is watching you, because again, your hair stand on end, right? And then, a couple of days later, you hear somebody says to you, I saw when you go across the gully. I saw when you were walking across the gully. Or in Jamaica, when they try to spook you, them say, but they see you, And why would it spook you? Because you believe that you were alone. But something in you, like you kept looking around, and as I look, there's somebody passing. Right there. See him? He's going past, yeah. So, yeah, it's like that. It's like you feel, but when you look, you didn't see anyone. Couple days later, somebody says to you, you were down there by yourself. Are you okay? What was going on? And you're like, what? Because it's like you're saying to yourself, I knew it. Someone's watching. And I know there are many ways to look at the judgment of hear, and how it is that hear reacts on people's perception. Because you touch on also the point that, let's just say the prejudice, right? I don't want to go too much in that because we did a lot of videos on that. But yeah, I mean, growing up, I was fascinated by locks because I didn't have it, and I knew nobody in my family, immediate family, but I had cousins in the extended family that had locks, right? And I remember asking one of my cousins one day if I could touch his locks because there was nobody else I knew. I was like maybe like 11 or 12, and I said, because I kept seeing it and I was like, just puzzled. So when him say, okay, yeah man, you can, So when I go, son, I said, wait, it feel like here. He was shocked. He laughed at me. It's like, Jerome, let me here. And so here's my paradigm. When I got saved, and I was thinking maybe I didn't need that, and the Lord was telling my hair was entangled in all these spells and these curses and these beliefs, and I was to brush it and comb it all out, let's get all that junk all out. in that moment of getting my hair disentangled from that auric field, the Spirit came clear in me and said, it's your hair. And so I no longer relate to the way in which my hair is by a terminology based upon design. Because they say this is a dreadlock or dreadlocked hair or matted hair. Here. There I let go the ideology. And you might say, well, you're being smart. No, I'm not being smart. If you have a complex with the way in which an individual wears their hair, that's you. I don't. Kare, chua baba. And I don't want to. I have been judged by a lot of people. People can say it's the religious culture that taught us, but then how could you discount a person's character just because they have locks? You see how weird it is? You know I'm a good person. Hey, you know I've never erred against you. Not that I've never erred, but I've never erred against you. I've never been a provocative person in that manner to cause trouble that way, right? And I defend myself, of course, really, but you know. And then, because I have locks, you're going to group me into an unscrupulous group of people, or you're going to speak so much negativities. A whole heap of Rasta man out there try to say to we know, I say, my youth, you better make sure the people know, say, enough of them burn pan we, you know. Beyond reasoning, my youth. And it's true, because that's what we're talking about. That's just not I want to get into these things. It's true. The cops in the 60s, after this Coral Garden incident, because I didn't want to talk about it, right? But how could we be serving the truth and not mention these things? We'll be hypocrites, right? Hey. In the Coral Garden incident in 1963, when they said, oh, the Rastaman did this or the Rastaman did do this in Montego Bay, and whatever the legalistic arguments are, the fact is there was a prime minister that said bring them in dead or alive. Or the connotative argument was bring them in dead or alive. You understand me? And it was like an open season on Rasta. It was open season on dreadlock people because there was no dreadlock people that weren't Rasta in those times. You better get that clear. It was unheard of. So it was open season on Rasta. Open season on the dreadlock man. Right? Cops usually, literally, accost men with dreadlock hair and cut off their hair with a broken bottle or some sharp implement if they could find it. You know, I didn't say instrument, I said implement, literally. Anything they could find that was sharp, that would cut off the Rastaman them locks. Right? Denying their children the right to go into school, and it's still happening even to this day where Rastafari dreadlocks children are denied entry into so-called Christian institutions that we know say these are Catholic institutions in essence, yeah, and they're anti-Christ in essence because Christ had locks. So how can you talk about the people who have the appearance like our great leader, our great teacher, our great savior, and you are being judgmental, right? The Maccabees are dreadlocks. It was a dreadlock culture in Israel for over 700 years, right? So what are you talking about? Why are these lies, deception, right, of the ancient lands? And we know when we go deep, it's anthropology, and on my channel I try to address some of the anthropological arguments. This channel is not for that. But I'm saying when you talk this way, there's some people always trying to go in the book, well, historically you're talking about this period of time. Come on, man, I'm talking about prejudice in all periods of time against us, perpetrated by first world ideation and belief system perpetuated by this system of white supremacy and its religious oligarchy over the aboriginals, hey, of this earth. And you can take that to the dictionary. Yeah? And so to suffer so much dishonor just a growing here, and some people saying no, it's not just a growing here, you have some ideologies that are not what yes Brother Singh. So you have some people say, well, you know, they haven't had some ideologies that is not in sync or succinct with a lot of the prevailing ideologies. The Rastafari philosophy started out of the Aboriginal intent to return to his own sovereignty, using the ideology given to them by the Western power that subjugated, hey, their nation state, identity, progeny, and destiny. So let us not get specific here, because if we want to go there, we can. We know where this prejudice is coming from. Locks is ancient, Brother Singh. It's ancient. It's ancient, or ancient as the Rastaman say. It's natural. And then we come to your point, it's godly. Right, Brother Singh?
Yes, man. To continue with my story, knowing what I know, I start say, all right, I'm gonna put on the locks. You see me? I'm gonna wear the locks. I'm not afraid anymore. Knowing say something gonna benefit me. You see me?
True.
Me no business about nobody. You see me? This
Hey.
gonna benefit me. And this me a try. This is my identity. It's like locks give you your own identity.
Shush.
You see me? So me I say, well, me I gonna have my own identity, come out of Babylon system, stop look like Babylon. You see me? Try to wear Babylon clothes. You see me? Although we are not tailor, you see me? But you see me? We try our best to not look like Babylon. You see me?
Yes, I'm the overstand.
And I say, yo, can I make up my mind, say, all right, I'm going to dress proper too. You see me? I'm going to make sure say, I look like the king, emperor. You see me? Look like Haile Selassie. In terms of him are the well-dressed best king, well-dressed king in the world. In the Guinness Book of World Record, you see me?
The best dressed king, eh?
You see me? So I say, well, we're going to use that example, and my mother always tell me, say, look good when you touch the road. You see me?
Yes.
So I say, well,
Jamaican matter thing.
Yes,
you can't touch out there anyway, especially as a king. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
So at that now, if you have the locks, put on some good clothes and look good, no man. You see me? Don't look like no tegereg. You see me? You see me? Almuta. Look at a man who beat him barefoot, but what? Him rapping at the finest
Yes.
garments from all over the world. You see me?
Yeah.
The man they travel the world and collect material. Come home and give him tailor. You see me? Tailor make some proper things. But him have him barefoot same way. But what? If him step in anywhere, they might respect him same way.
So
You see me?
he's carved out his own dignity and certainly his own identity.
Yes, because anywhere I step in, them respect me. You see me? Because I not appear like no Ted Greg. You see me?
Absolutely, I've been
But if
places.
me appear
I've seen that
in
for
a one
true.
paint up clothes, you know, hold up a paint droppings and tear up pants and little slippers or tear up and paint up, nobody not gonna pay me no mind. You see me? Nobody not gonna give me no respect. If I go to the cashier, she might not see me, you know?
She might see the paint stains more than anything else.
Yeah, man. She might not want to serve me, you see me?
And not just that, it's the attitude that they pervade. Because again, if you're not well presented in your department, a lot of people genuinely are taught to appreciate a person that is well adjusted based upon their appearance. So even though it's a little bit of a sketchy subject, I can see what you're saying, because I don't think I, as an individual, knowing how judgmental people are in appearance or about the appearance of others, I don't think I would feel comfortable just being in certain places and not looking properly attired. And that proper attired sense of well-being is not about what someone else is saying. It's about what I feel is the proper attire or is the appropriate attire for the environment.
Yes, sir.
But sometimes I can see that, say I'm just in what we call in Jamaica yard clothes, right? And here not, groomed, let's just say, not, just Lego, as we just say. And I'm at a place where I'm not too familiar. If I'm at a place where I'm familiar, nobody's going to judge me that much, because it's my area. But this is a place like I'm in your area now, right? And I just walk out like that to a shop that I'm not familiar. I am going to see, hey, people react to me. Because it has happened, so I'm not talking philosophically, where they take a while to acknowledge you, because it's like you're in your yard clothes, and maybe it's a few patch and a few tear, don't look so new, and your hair is let go, and they have these prejudice images about, people with locks already, and you're like, somebody else comes in after you, and they're serving that person. And you're like, but I notice, like, when I present myself, as you said, it's like, even if they have some kind of prejudice, I can see that their willingness to relate to you is not so inhibited, right? But at the same time, it begs a deeper question about the contents of a person's character not necessarily reflecting in their attire. Because it could be a moment where, in that sense, I was dressed that way. It don't make me a different person because I am dressed this way. when I'm dressed up, yeah, I'm dressed up. But they might be looking at the dressed up as the importance, and I'm looking at the fact that it's the same me with the same state of being. However, when it's prejudice relations, man, people ain't thinking that way. People are saying, man, they're not into your appearance. They are told negative things. They say it's lacking in ambition, it's disrespecting God, it's certain things that, you know. And on the other hand, they like the fact that we are talking about the beauty of the black women and certain things that seem nationalistic and personal that no one else really seems to have paid much attention to. So on one hand, there is an evidence that the man them and the woman them, the people who wear dreadlocks, who are Rastafari in our culture, think a little different. But yet still, people have experienced that difference. And sometimes it takes them a long time to acknowledge the goodness of the person's character. Majority of our famous artists wear dreadlocks, whether they're Rasta or not. Am I not correct, brother?
True.
And they go and scream to these artists, don't they? When you are famous, right? And you're pushing some S class, C class, 5 class, whatever. 7 series, whatever, right? But when a person who's attired that way, appears that way, in the same belief system or spirituality in the community, sometimes judgment high. But we're not saying of people, just assume that people are judging you because you have locks. Because sometimes you really have bad habits and attitudes. I'm not going to come here and make it be like, oh, he's just talking so nice to suit his own ego or our default position of having locks. No, sometimes some people with locks are very abrasive in their attitudes. Because they got strong positions, right? And they feel sometimes the offense that is cultural is always around, and sometimes some people are apt to be talking about it in their attitude, even though sometimes there isn't really like a real threat. But sometimes you go some places and you see some Rastaman really, you know, he's really, you know, he's going at some people. And he's going at an angle, and you got locks too, and you're saying, even in yourself, you're like, man, why is he acting that way? Right? And you know, man, because we're not playing smart. Don't you see sometimes people go like this and look upon you too? Do you know see them do that? Just look over upon you like. Because they're saying, I wonder if you're just like a dirty smarty like this person over here, so. Right? So me just hold my head straight, so. Because I, that's not I.
True.
That's another I, but that's not I.
Sorry.
Brother, see.
I remember when I tell my mother and my father, so I put on locks. What? My mother said, no. Because she has 7-day Adventist, and nobody in my family have locks. Nobody. You know, so I said, Jado, I said, I do it, you know. I no business about nobody, I not watch nobody. I live my life, you know. You can't really live your life based upon what people are saying. And you know in your heart you have to do something.
Sure, yeah.
You see me, father put in on my heart, say, yo, you have to do this. You see me? It's our next step in our life, but I have to do. My father said, he might cut me off.
Wow.
Him not even bring Rastaman in him car.
Wow. I show you
He
now.
cut me off. I got dead to him. You see me? And I said, boy, if I saw you feel about it, I can't do nothing about it. But me always there, you know. I love you. Always there.
Wow.
Anytime you want to call, you call. But if I that you want to do because me I put on locks on my head, I hear a problem that I know my own. Me not have no problem with you. I love you. You can always call me when you're ready.
Wow.
You know? Father say man cut me off.
Wow.
And him cut me off a couple months well, for about 9 months straight.
Whoa. I see
Cut me off.
Because when they say that, they mean it.
And then him just call me randomly and just start talking to me like nothing never happened. So we just talk to him like nothing never happened either. Because I love you, see me?
It's like you passed the test, you both.
Yes, I. Because that you have to show say, you're one man now, and you make your own move in your life right now. You see me? The minute you start wave on a if and a but, that means you don't know yourself. You don't know what you're about. You You need to have people tell you what to do. You see me? But you have to know what you depend and start make your own move in our life. And that's how me make up my mind.
Wow.
That's how me know say, oh, this not hurt nobody. This not hurt me. This not hurting nobody. You see me? Me not say why not. You see me?
Yes.
And them a hurt themselves over nothing. You see me?
Yes. Which is true, you know.
So me start do my little journey, you know, when you just start lock, so it just look away.
They call it chaotic and crazy.
You see me?
But it's natural and organic,
Yeah.
as we learn in Rastafari. It's our body, you know.
Yeah. Cause see them with the flowers, it take a while for bloom.
Yes.
You know? Start out from a little green, little something, you know?
From the stem, right?
And look now, right now my mother have locks now.
See there?
Cause
I
my
didn't know
mother,
she have locks.
yeah,
See, I
my
didn't know
mother, music say, Mommy, you can take care of my locks because she love when we look neat and proper, you know?
Yes.
She said, come, I'm going to teach her how to do locks. Because me start locks on my head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Me learn how to do it and start do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I teach her how to do it and she start help me do it now and locks neat and proper until she start desire locks, until she get locks. And her hair locks are long, her hair long
Yes.
right now to her back. You see me?
Whoa. Beauty. Growing naturally, man.
Yes, I.
She
And
discovered,
she love it.
Yeah, because she discovered that locks was here.
Yeah.
And it, for a while, they taught us this psychological way to look at her hair, that it wasn't here anymore.
True.
It became offensive, ideologically, psychologically, religiously offensive.
Yes,
And it shows that you have no ambition. You do not care about yourself. You don't care about your brothers and sisters and how people look at your family. How dare you call yourself? How dare you call yourself a so-and-so? Do you know this very auspicious name? What it represents in the community? And you are bringing, I mean the women say, and you're bringing your father's reputation down. You know your father has plans.
Yeah,
Your
man.
father's plans. You know your father's plans to become the next mayor, senator, politician, important. And how could you? How could you be so selfish? Thinking only of yourself. How did you think we afforded this? But the beauty I want to say is this, because I can't malign my mother, because, you know, when the question came up, but you know, she's a very serious woman, so she don't talk much to people about her children. Hey. So one of my cousins, well, one of her cousins, sorry, one of my grandaunt would ask her, me say it in Jamaica and say it so much, yes. You know, see a boy a locks up in head. Me must say no people say him mad already, you know. I want to go on in life. My mother turned to her and said, every pot have a sit down on its own bottom. You don't understand? Every human being has to make and accept their choices in life. And that's what my mother said. Yeah? I don't put it on next way for someone in the other parts of Jamaica. Every tub have a sit down on its own bottom. Yeah? So my mother said. So that was where it ended. So that psychological, hey, never played out, you know. And I found out, interestingly, through one of my cousins who lived abroad, through her mom, you know, who goes and comes, another one of my grandaunts, and that my mom was very proud of me, right? And she didn't say that to me directly, but in the conversation she did have about them. Like when like you talk about going through and how they would distance themselves. Well, it wasn't my mom that distanced herself. Obviously, it was the people who said I was crazy, cray. So they were distancing themselves, right? Which is good for me because I got a chance to study and focus on something that I needed to focus on. But during that time, just like maybe it was the time when your father not talking to you, it's like, I think the people are expecting you to flake out or go berserk. Because my rebellion was when I was deciding that I'm gonna, you know, like lock my hair, and I had my lock just like barely coming up. One day I went to link my sister, which was like, let's just say almost a mile away walking, right? But I wasn't planning to go that far. Since I woke up, I had no shirt on, right? I had on my PJs and, you know, my boxers and everything, and barefoot. But, you know, I wasn't thinking anything of it, you know, so I said, you know, I'm gonna take a little walk, you know, because one of my friends was passing and he called me and he said, yo, you know, Jerome, what you doing? I said, yo, me just wake up, you know, probably get a spliff, you know. I'm feeling so natural in nature. So I went to the shop, which is just downhill, which you know, right? But while I was down there, it's like the vibe just drew me and I say, yo, I'm going to link my sister, come down here, you know? Just that energy. So I walked through the town and went up to my sister, and we hold a little vibe, and she was like, we had up on the road, so, you know, Jamaican, so. And I was like, you know, I just songs a bit of follow him, you know, him call me out and me just chat out, you know what I mean? I never know if I reach so far, but I don't reach up on the road and I say, I call link you. You see, when I got back home, when my mom came home, there was like a, you know, we go through an investigation and the docket is this thick. That was all the complaints that came in. He's lost it. She's like, why in God's name would you go walking on the road like that? I said, first of all, I wasn't even thinking about them, right? I'm in myself. I ain't seen nothing wrong. I'm a man. I know I'm okay. I ain't seen nothing wrong. This is not like we're in the city. This is mountain areas. You understand me? I've seen many people walk around like that, but obviously it was not with locks sticking out of them head. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And that lick me, you know, the locks, the people that saying, gun! And it made me laugh, It's a good thing to say I wasn't a provocative soul, because I could push people's button, because at one time my spirit before I got saved was saying, you know, people love extreme. If you mess around with them, you just play with their minds, give them what they expect, hey, and you can just mess them up, play around with them and get power out of it, right? And that was one of those examples that you could do something and people just freak out, like literally growing your hair, and they were freaking out, cutting you off, not talking to you. I mean, I did that. Oh my God, it was like the nail of the coffin. Anyway, we're happy to share all the good, bad, and indifference about the judgments while we're in, you know, your dreadlock here. We don't want to leave it there. We don't want to leave it with a due consideration to you. It is your hair, and it's your choices, right? And there are people who are disturbed emotionally, mentally, angry, fed up, and having locks on their head do not justify you saying people with locks are irrational, are irritated people, are zoning out people. It's not acceptable. Because what you do is deny your most brilliant children and doctors and lawyers, according to the society, not my standard, that actually have locked hair. Did you hear about recently that law student, I don't know if it's Atlanta, pardon me, I could be wrong, but about the state. But there was a law student who was graduating and he had his locks. And the college told him he had to cut his locks. I'm talking Americans, like 3 weeks ago. He had to cut his locks to graduate. He said, and he matriculated. It could be New York, but it could be Atlanta. He matriculated into being a lawyer because, you know that was just prejudice. Yeah, so if you deny your children, your friends, the right to lock their hair just because you know some irrational and some really abrasive people that have locks, it would be the same as saying, I don't want to have my hair cut and I don't want to be neatly shaven, because neatest and the most well-groomed individuals are called soldiers per se, and they go out and kill and murder others, right? For so-called country and state, which is really for the corporation. Put it the next way, yeah? Majority of the murderers on death row, they ain't dreadlock individuals. So why aren't you saying, I don't want to wear no bald head, because I know nice crew cut, because the crew cut people, the real psychos around here, they're the ones killing people. Look at the prison. You know what I mean? So don't be prejudiced against your kid, your friends, because they're locking their ear. Heck, Jay-Z just locking his hair, saying he wants to be like the next Bob Marley at 40 something. Go figure out. The guy had to be a billionaire before he felt comfortable to lock his hair. Being amongst those money steens in the so-called first world. You can imagine being an Aboriginal so-called black man amongst those shark tanks filled with you know who. And at 40 something, he's now locking his hair. You know, talking about the influence of Bob Marley. And I know it's not just about music. I know it's self-image. It's like he's earned that. I earned mine the day I decided to lock mine. So did he. So will you, so have you. Any more wonderful anecdotes you want to leave us with, Brother Singh, before we segue out of here?
Yes, we should be godly in our actions and our speech. You see me? And our appearance. Have a good character in a society. Be a character what people look up to. Even with the locks. You see me? Just be a good character. It no matter the hair upon your head top. It matter the character that you are. You see me?
Content of a man's character. And where else can we leave it but right there? Because ultimately that's it. Check the content of a person's character, the nature of their characteristics before you judge them merely upon appearances. Though sometimes appearances speak volumes, but sometimes it's not to a decrepit intent. It actually expresses the state of suffering, hurt, the abuse of the state of being. That's what it shows sometimes. So sometimes you see a Rasta man, or a man with dreadlocks, him look a little thirsty and thirsty, dusty, yeah? Because of the prejudice and the suffering and the ostracizing and the extrication from within certain functions. We're not saying all, within certain functions within society, right? Sometimes that's why it looks that way, yeah? So sometimes it's love that's gonna cause you to see, or is it always? Always it's love that's gonna cause you to see beyond the appearance and sometimes the weird attitudes, to not judge someone just by their appearance or just by the fact of you noticing that they're about to start locking their hair or they've already locked their hair. Until next time, this has been the Great Owl. Reasons Right here at the Trail Life with brother Ramon Singh. Just reminding you, be careful of the judgments we pervade when we encounter the dreadlock individual, male and female. Love your brethren and sisters, love your children, and love your hair. Perfect love.
Perfect love.
Perfect love.